What's up, you guys? This is DYANAROZAY. Welcome to my channel. You see the thumbnail, so you know exactly why you're here. This is an official sister review for Season 6B, Episode 23. I have some flashback scenes, as well as we're going to talk a little bit about the unaired footage that dropped earlier this morning. I call this episode I'm About to Go. Okay, that's what Tisha tells Melody when she is in the hot seat. So I said, I'm about to go too, child. But listen, I did debate on whether or not I should call it Hey Tisha girl. And if you saw Melody in front of that gym when Tisha pulls up and she gives those toodaloo fingers, you'll know exactly why I wanted to call it Hey Tisha girl. Okay. But without further ado, let me introduce you to my sister and my co-host, Miss Clone. She is back for another episode. Hey, Miss Clone.
Hey.
Hey. Okay, tell us about the MVP. Clone is wearing the MVP. I'm wearing the honorable mention. Okay.
Yes. So my MVP is Mama Van. So Vanessa Rogers Tracy. We haven't seen her in a while, and actually, it's the first time that she's been on this season. So
Yep.
welcome back. We're really happy to see her come here for such a significant scene with her daughter.
Okay. So yep, first time we've seen her for 6B. So we do 6A, 6B. So this is her first time back on 6B.
Okay.
And then I have Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara is Melody's trainer. We first were introduced to Miss Barbara on Melody's IG. I think she did an IG live, and she said that she was working out for Fashion Week. That was last year. And now Miss Barbara has made her way onto the show, child. So she gets the honorable mention, and we will be discussing the show as these two ladies. But somebody else gets an Abby this episode, and that would be Mr. Martell Holt. He gets to take on Ike Turner, okay? He got the Ike Turner bug, y'all. So we will be looking at him through the lens of Ike Turner from this point forward. Because, baby, when I tell you Martell is something else. He is something else, y'all. I told you I had a flashback scene for you. I'm about to play it in a minute. I'm just going to give you the setup. I believe that this was season 3, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe season 3 or 4. Either way, Melody went on a date. This was following their divorce. Melody goes out on a date, and Martell broke that date up. He showed up to the restaurant she was at and went over and puffed out his chest and said a couple of things to her date. And he was supposed to have been at a business meeting. So he didn't care if he destroyed the business meeting. He didn't care who was there in the community that saw him because, you know, the Holt name carried some weight. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the scene. But he didn't give a damn. And Melody shows up to the job site where him and Fred are working and said, listen, we got to talk about boundaries, okay? So let's play a little bit of that scene right now because it's really significant to everything else that's going to play out, especially at the end of the episode. So let's listen to that real quick. And yeah.
Boundaries, about respect, and what that looks like for us when it comes to us, because what happened was out of line, totally out of line and unnecessary.
Mel, listen.
It's like when you do something, it's cool. Like you do stuff all the time on social media.
Like what?
I'm saying when I even mentioned I had a baby or something like that.
You went straight to social media.
So now when I see you with a dude, and it was a shocker to me, you know, it's the first time you're saying something like this. So
hell yeah. You know, I'm like, what's up, Mel?
Wow. Why was it a shocker?
Yeah. So for a woman who's had many men, right? It seems like it wouldn't be a shocker, right? For a woman that cheated on him first, it shouldn't be a shocker. Yeah, it's weird, right? So I wanted to play that scene to show how much of a liar he is. That he literally showed up in this space, broke up this woman's date. They are fully divorced. And now he's having a scene where he says, not only is it a shocker for me, but the rest of the dialogue, he says, every time I see you, I'm going to do it. Okay.
Right.
So he makes a threat to her after having a conversation with Nell where he says, I need you to pick a side because you don't hold her accountable for doing what I did. And she did it first. And I don't know. It's just really weird how Martell says these things. And the other thing that I wanted to point out in that scene, because that also sets the stage for a lot of the stuff that we see with Martell, is that he has not accepted that he messed up.
Mm-mm.
He hasn't accepted that
Mm-mm.
he had a child outside of that marriage. He may love his child. I'm not saying that he doesn't love him, but I am saying that he holds a lot of shame. And I would even go as far as to say probably a little bit of resentment, because there's no way he can walk around on the planet Earth in the headspace that he's in, where every time Melody does something for her healing, it triggers him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not against you, sir. This is so that she can move on and be okay. And if you knew what it was to heal, you would understand it. So
Yeah.
anyway.
It's regret turned to animosity.
Mm-hmm.
When regret turns into animosity. Yeah, I totally agree. That's
sure.
pretty much what it is. Yeah.
Right.
And then also, yeah, he is a classic example of a person that tells so many lies that he can't keep them straight, that he has no clue what he's told already.
Mm-hmm. And when people call you an abuser, it's because we see you as this. Ike Turner.
Right.
Classic abuse is to poke, beat, stump, beat the spirit out of, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically. And then when you kiss somebody on the cheek and say, I'm done with you feeling this way, I want you to get over it. You want them to get over it. It's classic. But the what was this movie called? What's Love Got to Do with It?
What's what? Yeah.
Listen, Angela Bassett, and what's this guy's name? Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne should have won the Oscar for the Oscar every time for this. Okay, this epitomizes abuse right here.
Yeah. And to act like a martyr and awful.
Act like a martyr, like she did something to you.
Mm-hmm.
What a bastard. What a bastard. Oh my God. When I saw this, I had the heebie-jeebies to watch him be as evil as he was to this woman. And then she got to get up on stage and sing, and her eyes had she was singing, tears was rolling out down her face when she sung this song, child. And this was, them kids was in the audience doing their thing, and she just had to get it out. I loved it. Oh my God, Angela Bassett. I loved her every day after that moment. But anyway, we're going to get to the rest of the show. Okay. Tangent I did. Okay, we're going to go with the rest of the show, child. Let's start with Kiki Jabbar, Melody Cherie, and Kiki's husband, Amin. Okay. They pick up where they left off with this drug test, y'all. Melody said, Kiki, it's about time you proved him wrong. Kiki was like, that's right. She was like, you know, you got this. She was like, that's right. That's right. And then she said, you need to take a drug test. And she was like, mm-hmm. And she went, I got one in the car. Okay. When she said she got one in the car, Kiki's face was like, womp, womp. Like, what is this? Like, you could tell her eyes start shifting like, wait a minute. Was I tricked? What is this? Right.
Right.
And her husband is like, you ain't got to prove nothing to them. And he was probably saying, you ain't got nothing to prove to Melody either. Like, I don't know what this is, but I can see that you're not comfortable and you don't have to do it. Right.
Right.
And Melody was letting her know. And this is what I want people to recognize with Melody right here in the scene and through all the scenes. Okay. That she is in a different place, that she is playing the role she needs to play.
Mm-hmm.
She is playing the antagonist where she needs to play the antagonist. She's being the bone carrier where she needs to be the bone carrier. She showed up in the scene and said, listen, your cousin and her husband and their family continue to talk about you after you left the barbecue. And they were saying, you're still on drugs, right? She's getting, you know this. And she's like, if you want to come from up under this, you need to take this impromptu drug test right here, right now. Otherwise, they're going to use that moment that, was a human moment for you they're going to use that moment each and every single time you
Right.
show on a scene or in an event. They're going to use it against you. And I know this because they would do the same with me by sharing to everybody they could that I was the reason. I was trying to break up their marriage. I was the person who,
Right.
was spreading the rumors and all those kind of things. But now you and I are both vindicated. And I'm going to tell you how Melody was vindicated in just a minute. But she said, you and I can both be vindicated. You can hold your head up high. You can stand in any room with them and know that you are clean and the audience knows that you're clean. Okay. We ain't going to break the fourth wall, but we need everybody to know that you're clean. And Kiki says, okay, I'll do it if he takes a lie detector test. And Melody doubles over in her confessional. And so she's like, like, girl, he ain't taking no lie detector test. Something cool will have to happen, okay? Pigs are going to have to fly. The Giselles are going to have to lay with the lions. You feel me?
Right.
He's not taking a lie detector test, Kiki. However, that shouldn't stop you from standing in your truth, okay? And that's how she ends it. And she says, okay. And Kiki goes to the bathroom. She does her urine test. And when she comes back and shows it to Melody, it's all clean. Negative, 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 negative on everything, including methadone, which she has admitted that she takes in order to curb the urge, right?
Right.
And a lot of people have been asking for a teachable moment. And I have seen, at least in my Facebook group and a lot of other platforms too, everybody's been discussing, well, how did she test negative for methadone, right? And you all have been looking it up and doing all the stuff, all the work. That's how teachable moments happen. It's something that you see on a show that you take off the show because you're curious. That's how teaching works. So I just want you guys to know that here's the teachable moment you all were looking for. It's the teachable moment you all were looking for. But she came back. She was like happy to see that it was clean. She was like, all right. They high five. Even Amin is happy. You can see like there is a pride moment that comes across his face. It was awesome. But then Melody, again, she plays role of bone carrier. And she was like, girl, what you up here at the store shit? What y'all getting? And Kiki said, well, we are moving to a new home. And she was like, oh, why? And she said, I remember Tiffany saying something. She was like, well, what the hell Tiffany talking about, right? But she's like, we're moving to a new home because our son is very talented in football. And we want to make sure that we give him the best opportunity for a scholarship, right? But she was like, oh, okay. She went, well, Tiffany made it seem like y'all was going to do something. She said y'all pulled y'all son out the district, but she made it seem like y'all was going to do something shady. And we all know that it's illegal to enroll your son or your child into another district. So Melody let her know, listen, she out here still dragging your name. And both Kiki and Amin were like, I don't know what the hell this girl's problem is, but we don't have to get with her, okay? And that's how the scene ends, right? So let's go to the next scene, child. Tiffany wasn't even on the episode, but she is out here doing some stuff. She's a piece of work with the show, okay?
I know.
Now let's talk Marsau and Tisha. Now, I said in the last scene that Melody was vindicated from the whole Melody tried to ruin my marriage. Melody is the one spreading the rumors. Well, let's just say this. Tisha had an incident that had absolutely nothing to do with Melody. Marsau's still out here being accused of cheating. Okay? So for literally 5.5 seasons, Tisha has made it seem like everything that had to do with Marsau and cheating came from Melody, including bringing my cousin on the show. This is you trying to tear my family down. And all of a sudden, like I said, Marsau is being accused of shitting where he eats because this rumor, oops, I'm sorry, y'all. That was my phone. This rumor came from, that was my spouse, but I'm going to give him a call back later. This rumor came from inside her camp. This is a rumor that came from inside her camp, didn't have nothing to do with Melody, didn't have nothing to do with Martell. This is solely you. And here's the
Right.
beauty of it. Here's the beauty of it. Where the two of you had an opportunity to face it head on, you chose not to. You didn't address it with Kiki. That's one thing. But you didn't even address it in the scene. Everybody is rehashing
Yeah.
happening at the barbecue, and the two of you don't even address it in the scene. Because the first thing that should have come out of your mouth was, I don't appreciate Kiki doing exactly what I told her not to do. I said, don't put your mouth on my marriage anymore. You had the nerve to do that and still assault me. If she wanted to say you assaulted me verbally, you assaulted me with that bullshit. If she wanted to call it a lie, that would have been the opportunity to do so. But she ignored it completely.
Completely. Yeah. I
And
noticed that too.
And I said, this is the beauty of it. You're not talking at all about it. You're just going to say, we're not doing this again. I know she's still on drugs and she had the nerve to do this and I'm done. But neither you or Marsau say, I don't appreciate your cousin's raggedy ass mouth. Because this is the time you get hype, when the two of you are together and you're in your safe place. It's just the two of you. This is where you say, I can't believe that stinking ass, like call her the name, say the things you want to say.
Right.
Here to each other, but you don't say it. You don't say it. And even if you decided you're not going to believe and you kept your makeup artist, that's when you say this, that girl, for her to put my makeup artist, I trust that girl more than I trust her. That's how you say it.
Stand in it.
You stand in it. And the fact that y'all, neither one of you bring it up, lets me know you're in an open marriage.
I don't think you're in an open marriage.
Okay.
I don't think they're in an open marriage. I think she's so hurt by it that they can't talk about it.
Okay, well, you're still giving her some credit. I don't know.
Am.
I'm feeling like if Tisha, I understand hurt. I understand the hurt part. But I don't get how for 5.5, 6 seasons, damn near, you have blamed all of this on Melody. And it's great that you have decided to bury the hatchet to film scenes together. But your cousin spoke over your marriage. And if at the very minimum, if you could have said, I don't respect what she did at that barbecue, because that affected my family, my children, my household. Let's say, for instance, that I want to be in the clouds and my head in the clouds and not acknowledge this at all. Bitch, let me. Let me do that. You don't have any right to come over here with that mess. When you and your husband were going through it because you were out there on prescription meds, we allowed you to do that part. You know what I'm saying? Even if we did have a conversation with Melody and Martell where we said it might not be the best idea for you to let her come over here or whatever. The truth of the matter is your marriage went through something and you had an opportunity to go through it, and you still may be going through it, right?
Right.
You want to put your mouth on my marriage, and I asked you not to do that because whatever I'm going through has to do with me not acknowledging it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how else to explain it.
You're absolutely right. If that is something that hits home for her, and I've got to be honest with you, of all of the seasons that I've watched, I feel like this comes up every season. And every season, Tisha is saying the same thing. She's trying to protect her marriage. Then that should have at least come up. You ain't got to say exactly what Kiki said, but you should have just said, like, look, you know how important my marriage is to me. I specifically told you, I really hate when people do this to me, and you did this to me.
Right, because at the potato thing, that potato event, she actually says to her, Kiki, you knew where me and Marsau were. So she actually implied that her and Marsau were in a hard place, that the marriage was in a hard place. So she says that at Wanda's potato event. She says that to Kiki. It would have been really cool if she would have brought it back up here.
Right.
And so I already told that girl once that we were going through our shit. And when she was going through her stuff with Amin, and may still be going through it with Amin, I respected her in that space, and she still's disrespecting me in this space. Like, she didn't
Right.
express that part. But Marsau had an opportunity to turn the tables. So even though we saw him as a whole butthole at the barbecue, he says to Tisha, "Are you sure you're done with Kiki?" Because after I had an opportunity to, talk to Stormi about her friend, and what happened with her friend was very recent because her son is still young. So after I had an opportunity to talk to Stormi about her friend, I realized that maybe it's not all lost here. Like, I'm still hurting for Kiki. So he turns the tables and make it seem like he's hurting for Kiki. And the sad part about it is, I don't think he expected Tisha to get emotional in that scene. I don't know if you guys paid attention, but Tisha is looking at him like, "Are you serious?" at first. And then she actually looks like she's about to freaking cry. So I don't think she expected to be hurt. I think that when he was saying it to her, like, we went through a lot, I think that her body just reacted to it like, "Oh, damn, I'm really still hurting from this." So I do believe that Tisha and Kiki are still hurting, both of them, from this
Oh,
situation.
definitely. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. But he says that to her, and then I think he realizes that he put her in a bad space because
Hmm.
she couldn't speak it out. And then he
Hmm.
said, "Well, it'd be great if you can take some accountability."
Yeah. He flipped the script on her quick.
He flipped it to make her, he was like, "Oh, I ain't gonna have you cry over this, girl. Let me make
Right.
you mad. We'll talk about Melody instead."
Right. Yeah. Let me put your energy in a different direction. Yeah.
He sure did. He said, "Oh, I didn't expect you to go here. We were supposed to have a tender moment, but you ain't supposed to cry about it." And then he said, "You ain't taking responsibility." And she was like, when haven't I taken responsibility? Like, she really had to search her mind. She went,
Hmm.
"A recent thing, because I know that I've been on my game." And he went, "Well, yeah, just 2 weeks ago, Tisha, when we were at the after meeting for the Black Expo, Melody told you that, it wasn't well organized. And instead of you listening and taking notes, you tried to jump on her. You jumped down her throat saying that you didn't need that advice." And da 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 da. And she went, "Okay, okay, okay. Fine, fine. I'll take it. I'm taking accountability." He went, "Now see, here you are, not taking accountability for taking accountability." And then she laughs it off. She goes in the bathroom, but she was still broken. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's get to the next scene, y'all. I think that is Miss Vanessa. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's Miss
Yeah.
Vanessa's
The
scene.
Vanessa scene.
Now, y'all, I want to talk about this in a serious way, because I know a lot of people hate Martell, but I want y'all to hear what Melody had to say about her marriage here. So look at them looking exactly alike. That's why I took this picture.
Oh, it's so cute.
They have the same facial expression. It's cute to see. But I'm gonna let you start, because I know that you had a lot of warm feelings about this scene. So
I
go
did. I teared up on this scene. I teared
ahead.
up on this scene. Before anybody comes at me, I've teared up at quite a few scenes. But listen, this scene, this scene in particular made me tear up because it almost felt like a Lifetime movie when they started to play it. Like they're playing it with the she starts to show like her invitations and her menu and all of the things that they kind of set out. And I guess like her event planner comes over to talk about some things that she wants to do for the party and get some measurements and take a look around. Mama Van, of course, shows up as well. And they start to talk about it. And she basically talks about, hey, I got the letter back from the court on this name change, Sarah, the name change. But I haven't read it yet. And her mom's like, well, you haven't read it yet. Like, how do you even know they approved it? Like, what are you holding off for? So she starts to read the letter. And as she starts to read the letter, she starts off by talking positively about the marriage, right? At some point, I mean, I was in the relationship with this man for X number of years. We do have, X number of children together.
Mhm.
I was in a family that I loved. The name carried some significant weight for me because I wanted to be a part of the Holt family. I wanted the Holt name.
Mhm.
And you could actually see like it was a true brand for them. That Holt name was a brand for the two of them.
Mhm.
But
Facts.
but it starts out, it almost like, this is what it reminded me of. Like when you watch like a Lifetime movie and someone in the movie dies and they do kind of like that flashback scene of like, you know, like significant events in their life. That's what I felt like this was. It was basically the death of their marriage and the rebirth of her as a person.
Facts. I listen, that was my feeling too. I was like, when she said I was in love and then they start showing it, and when she was like, and Holt and Holt and Holt, I was like, oh my God.
A little cute banter, right?
Banter around the name. Like they
Yes.
believed in the Holt name as an enterprise. Do you feel
Right.
like we are amazing in all things Holt, as husband and wife, as mother and father, as business partners, as a brand? It was everything to her. And so changing her name is her literally saying, I have to untie myself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually from what I believed in, because that is no longer me.
Right. Right.
And Martell is living the same death. It's just that he's blaming her. So when he says it's a smack in my face, okay, and that's what he's saying is the smack in his face. It is a damn smack in your face, sir, but it is how she has to live. She's doing it for her survival.
Right. That's the best part of it. It's her evolution. Like, look at where I was, what I decided to get rid of, because she was like, I'm dissolving it. Right. In that one scene where he was like, I want 50%. And she was like, F you, I'm dissolving this shit. Without a tear in my eye.
Right.
Without a stutter in my speech. Without a shake in my voice. I am dissolving this.
But she was like, bitch, you have no idea. He still doesn't get what, and he's slowly understanding it. I wish that someone could, well, never mind. Don't anybody do anything. Don't anybody do anything. Listen, this, what is brilliant about, I agree with everything that you said, is what's brilliant about how Melody is bringing her healing journey to the show. This is her journey.
Right. Her mom is there, right? They're crying tears of cleanse. That's the cleansing part of it. And she's wearing a shirt that says, God said go. If this isn't a rebirth, I don't know what it is.
Amen, Sister Child. I love it.
It was great. I don't know whose idea it was. I don't know if it happened by fluke. I don't know if production said yes. All of this makes sense, but I caught onto it. You caught onto it. And I'm giving everybody high fives.
High fives, child, all the way around. High fives.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a perfect scene for what we're going to see at the end with Nell and Martell, because you can tell who's moved on.
Yeah.
And not just moved on, but I'm moving on with the acknowledgement that when I was in that marriage, I loved him. I loved who we are. I loved the idea of what we were building and what we had. Like, I loved
just that.
Totally.
Right. Not just that, though. I think the audience loved them.
Oh, right.
I watched that first scene, and I mean, literally, like, I started welling up with tears going, oh my God, they were the it couple.
They were the it couple. It's so nostalgic when you see it. It's like,
it is.
Martell, and that is why I know people like, we hate Martell. Listen, you love to hate him, because at the end of the day, when you see who they were as a couple, and you knew that Melody loved that man for 12 years or whatever those years were, and despite the fact that she may have found out he was cheating, and I'm going to forgive you, and I'm going to see if we can keep working this out. When all of that was going on, that was her being in love with this name, this family. And she says it there. I'm happy to be a part of this family. And even Martell at the end saying, I don't know, she didn't do anything under the Rogers name, and they're good people. Yeah, they're good people. All right, sir. But you're missing the point. She loved the Holt name more than you loved the Holt name. She respected the Holt name and what it represented for you guys more than you did. That is the death of the scene.
Right. You ruined an empire.
You ruined an empire.
Yeah.
say your family is your wealth, all of those things, you don't always get to see it. You don't always get to see it. Like, it takes some working, right? But to have
Right.
a young couple, like you can look at like for instance, Barack Obama and Michelle and their babies, and those girls grew up, and you're like, wow, we didn't get to see the young life of them so much. When they showed up in the scene where we're getting to see them go through a hard time anyway. Like,
Right.
they're in the White House, they're being called names, people are scrutinizing their children, the mother, and you feel for them, you love their accomplishment, but you feel for them. We got to see Melody and Martell, even though they were having hard times, we got to see the joy too. We got to see why it was worth fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw it all crumble. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
rooting,
Yeah.
even though. So anyways, at the end of it, Melody lets the mama know that we got this name changing ceremony coming up. And I can't wait for you to see it. And about 25 people have been invited. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I loved it. I love the scene.
Yeah,
Great.
me too. It was great.
Okay. So let's talk about the next one. And I think this is Stormi. Stormi visits Kiki. So Miss Stormi heads over to Kiki's house in her gold G-Wagon. And this is a good scene too. Stormi is so relaxed here.
Yeah,
I was
this
so
was good
happy.
to see.
Yes, she was super relaxed here. I don't think I've had an opportunity to see her really relax in a scene. It was just perfect. She showed up as a
Mm-hmm.
friend, and it felt like a friend to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very warm.
Very warm. Kiki appeared just a little different in how she was engaging, because typically Kiki can be a little, high strung as well. But it
Hyper,
was
yeah.
like good sister girl conversation.
Mm-hmm. They were very comfortable with each other for sure.
Yes. So she's there. She's like, hey, what's going on? She's looking at the house, and she's like, oh, I think they talked a little bit about her son. She's explaining to her that they moved in this house because they want to make sure her son gets a scholarship. He's very talented. And then they, talk about the barbecue. They rehash the barbecue. And she said, we were talking about you when you left. She's like, of course you were talking about me. And she's just letting her know, well, listen, Marsau seems to think that you're still doing drugs. She said, of course he does. She said, well, I don't think so. And, he kind of came after me. Um, and, we had a little heart to heart about my friend. And they just, really get involved in that. And Kiki says, listen, I love Tisha, and I hate that I love her. I hate that I love her, because I would
Mm-hmm.
really like to disconnect from them. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't know how to do that right now. Despite all the things that I'm carrying on my back, we've been through so much. This girl has been messing with me since I was 13 years old, when I first met them, and, got to see the other side of the hole that was missing in me, because I didn't know my daddy. But now when I first meet them, it's just this horrible, love-hate relationship. And I don't know how to get it over it, right? And it really
Right.
is just kind of stem from childhood. She's gonna have to go back and revisit that. But yeah, and then she says, listen, uh, Tiffany had this to say about your products, about your products, and this was the best scene ever. This is the best part. I shouldn't say the best part about the scene, but I was so giddy with how Stormi handled herself here.
Yeah, it was nice and relaxed. I love this part for
She
Stormi.
has
I thought it was great.
nothing to prove. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She
She has nothing to prove.
did
Absolutely
not
nothing.
defend
She's like,
herself.
I know who I am. I know what I do. I don't care what Tiffany thinks.
I don't give a shit what Tiffany thinks. Right. She said,
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah, I gave her some products. She said, well, she had some things to say about it not being, the ingredients were off. And she went, really? And she didn't say anything else. She gets in confessional. She said, I'll address it when I see her, but it's not, I don't have to say anything. And I was like, oh my God, That's right, girl. You know where you sit. You don't have to say
Mhm.
to Tiffany about or to Kiki about your products. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I
I loved it because I sometimes I don't think that Stormi comes across most times as mature, but she
yeah,
did in the scene.
she did. She did. I feel like she was finally in a place where she's relaxed. I loved it.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes. And can I
Okay.
just say one more thing about Kiki and Tisha?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Kiki and Tisha have both closed the door on each other, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Kiki's door is unlocked and Tisha can walk through it at any point. I feel like Tisha swallowed her key.
Mm-hmm.
Keisha
Mm-hmm.
locked the door and the key is swallowed. And until she feels like letting it out, it ain't coming out.
It ain't.
Mm-mm.
I mean, and she said that she was like, do y'all think y'all can talk? Stormi asked her, do you think y'all can talk? She went, we ain't talking. We ain't gonna do nothing. I think they both know that that all they would have to do is talk, but
Yeah.
they can't talk
If you're
because
stubborn. Yeah.
not even just stubborn. It's if we talk, then I also have to face the truths about my husband.
Which you know what? I don't even want to say I felt bad for it. And I don't want to say that I don't understand it because I've got to be honest with you. Infidelity, I think for anybody would be hard as much as anybody would say, oh, I would do this and I would do that and I would walk away. Infidelity for anybody is hard. And it's clearly a hard reality that she's got to come to terms with at some point or not. Totally up to her. It's really none of my business. I could care less what she decides to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is that so many people go through it on an annual basis. You think that it was when you're looking at it, you almost see someone on an island who it's like she's got leprosy and nobody else does. Do you know what I mean? Like
That's
I don't know.
how she's always handled her marriage. You want to know?
It's just crazy.
Because when she comes onto the show, she says she says, I never had infidelity, never dealt with it, never happened. She's adamant about it. Everybody around her is like, oh shit. Like we all know that there's infidelity in this marriage, but she
Right.
can't admit it. And I think it's the idea that she has to eat crow. When she's eating crow literally every day, like I said, not only is this rumor not, started by Melody, it started by, from what we were understanding when we were talking about it, it was someone in excuse me, it's a business partner, somebody y'all was about to do business with, building out a barbershop, literally sitting next door to a bar that he's at every night of the week. And it supposedly all happened at the bar, right? That's what they're alleging. It all happened at the bar. Marsau is literally, there's no other way to explain it, shitting where he eats. And the person you were accusing of starting all of this is nowhere around because y'all ain't friends no more. Y'all ain't friends
Mhm.
no more. Y'all don't hang out like that. You're only showing up on set. So now that the rumor has turned into a completely different direction with new players, with new people involved, but the same player, your husband, now you have to sit in that too. And that has to feel uncomfortable in
Right.
every way. But anyway, let's get to the next scene, child. We're going to exercise scene now. This one was Tisha showing up at the exercise scene.
Oh, that's right.
With Miss Barbara, child. Miss Barbara was really fit to be tied when these showed up. But anyway, they give us the exercise place on the outside of the building before they even go inside. Melody shows up first in her G-Wagon. She's
Mhm.
waiting on everybody else, and she says, oh, there's Tisha. Now, here's the beauty of this. They all know why they're meeting, okay? We're going to break the fourth wall and just talk about the fact they all know why they're meeting.
Yeah.
They
They
don't
know.
exercise with each other in real life.
Right.
They don't talk to each other in real life.
Right.
They don't talk to each other outside of this show in real life, okay?
Right.
So that means that you guys are showing up in this scene together to rehash the barbecue. And Melody gets there before everybody because she was a person who they used to talk about. So now she gets to stand on the sidewalk and wait, child. And in true Scorpio fashion, Tisha pulling up and she goes, oh, there goes Tisha. And then she flung that hand up and went, hey, Tisha girl. And she says it just like that. And that kills Tisha before
the enthusiasm. Yeah.
The enthusiasm. It killed her before she got out the car. Tisha, before she gets out the car, she's like, I don't want to be here. She knows what this is.
Yep. She's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to be here. I don't want to talk about it. The way you sat at Galentine's 4th season at that table with your Team Wifey shirt on. Remember your Team Wifey shirt, Tisha? That was you saying, hey, Melody girl, I'm still a wife. Now Melody gets to stand on the sidewalk and say, hey, Tisha girl,
well,
I know
you rubbed your nose in it. Yeah. What comes around goes around. You got to be prepared for that. It's called life.
For sure.
It's called life, and it's accompanied by karma.
Okay, the roller coaster don't always go up, baby. You got to come down. Okay. So she hits her with the hey, Tisha girl, and Tisha gets out that car pissed. And she doesn't say another word to Melody. Melody shifts back and forth from one foot to the left foot to the right foot. And she is bopping around like, I don't know what the hell is wrong with Tisha girl. You know what's wrong with her. You just let the air out of her sails and let her know, bitch, we talk. Okay.
You know exactly what's wrong with Tisha.
Facts. It was hilarious.
And Tisha knows you know. So she ain't playing no games with you.
Then Kimmy pulls up with the top off her Jeep. Hair blowing in the wind, okay? And she comes up on the step. She was like, hey, and she hugs Tisha. She wants what's wrong with you?
Right. That's like, where's that energy coming from?
That's how pungent her stank ass attitude was. You could feel it, okay? It could be seen, felt, smelt, all of it. And Kimmy gets in confessional and went, maybe it was me, but it damn sure felt like something was wrong. I don't know if something happened before I got here, but I do want to say her energy was off when I rolled up. So now we know these 3 ladies are having this scene and Tisha's energy is off, but she tries to get it together when Kimmy comes in. And then Melody introduces them to Barbara, lets them know that they're doing their little exercise. They talk a little bit about Kimmy's health journey. And Kimmy said that she has taken a test, which I kind of heartbreaking about. She's taken a test and she felt every single thing in regards to her energy levels and just, feeling healthy. And she said that she had asked the doctor, Melody said, is it something that you can do to work on it? And she said the doctor told her, no, this is probably as good as it'll get. And she said, oh no, I told him the devil is a lie because I want to recover fully. And I think that this is significant for, if not future episodes that's going to come up, then probably, the next season, because we know that her and, her husband, they're not meeting each other in the same place energy wise. So that was an important scene. I don't want to blow that off, that she's not feeling better. And the doctor told her it probably will not get better than this. So I don't even know if she used the word probably. I think she said that he told her, no, this is it. This is where you're going to be. So, I feel bad, but let's move on to the next part of the conversation. So they're all sitting in a circle and Melody is like, so talk to Kiki. Okay.
Right.
Talk to Kiki. She feels real bad about what happened, child. What's your thoughts or feelings on it? And that's when Tisha tried to convince her, listen, you might want to move out of Kiki's way. You might not want to put any more energy into Kiki. Right?
Agreed. Yes. I would agree that she was trying to convince her. Yeah. She was speaking solely to Melody. She never even looked in Kimmy's direction.
Right. This isn't a me, you, and Kimmy conversation. I am talking to you one-on-one and saying to you, I know who Kiki is. Now, if that's somebody that's someone you want to hang out with, cool. Right. But me and Kiki is done.
But what You're 100% right. But what I noticed about this scene was it was Kimmy that started off with the question of how are you doing after this whole thing? And then when Tisha went into her spiel, even though Kimmy was the one that started the question, Tisha's focal point or focus was solely on Mel.
Okay. So Kimmy
So
starts
that
off,
to me was I need to tell you you're not dealing with who you think you're dealing with. I need to tell you that this person is rotten in Denmark and that you need to watch yourself.
okay.
And
So
most importantly, you need to believe me.
You need to believe me. So Tisha, a person with no credibility, is asking her to trust and believe me only. Despite everything that we've gone through and that we're still trying to rebuild, a space where we can just be cordial to each other. Not even friends. We're just rebuilding to be cordial.
Right. And when Melody gave her that, I think that was like her sign of, all right, yeah, I'm done. Because I think had Melody given her more interest, she wouldn't have stormed off the way that she did.
Right. Because she's letting her know, I'm not here to choose you over Kiki.
Right.
I'm telling you, I talked to Kiki.
Right.
Said she's remorseful. So she didn't say she gave her a drug test, but she's like, I asked Kiki to prove herself. She did. And now I'm asking you, what led up to her throwing that water in her face? Because
exactly.
T walks off. I'm about to go. I'm going to the beach. Bye, guys. Bye. I was like, okay, girl.
Yeah, I mean, look, if she can't take it, she should get up and walk off. It's probably the best thing that she can do. But she's going to have to figure out how to work within the space. Because like I said, it's been happening for 6 seasons. Let's just say that there is going to be a season number 7. Figure out how to work within it for season number 7.
So she gets up and leaves, and then Melody and Kimmy are still there talking about Tisha, and Kimmy says, basically, Melody says, I think it's more than, Melody says, I don't think she's all right. She knows she's not all right. But both of them were about to crack up in the scene. But then Mel goes, I don't think she's all right. I think it's deeper than that. And Kimmy looks at Melody like, what? But she just plays along. And she goes, yeah, definitely isn't her being all right. It's definitely bigger, much bigger. And she leaves it at that. So, ooh, child, what a genius of a scene. So great because Melody is completely over the hump. I love it. So the last scene is Martell, Ike Jr., and Nell Fletcher. So he shows up to Nell's house. He's bringing some bottles of wine that he had promised Nell's husband. And they decide to sit on the porch and chit-chat a little bit. And Nell just comes right out and say, I just want you to know that I am going to Melody's name-changing ceremony. And Martell completely loses his mind. He loses his mind because he realizes there's a point, and if you're watching this episode, there's a point where he says, this is playing in my face or something like that. This is a slap in my face. This is playing in my face. And they'll say, you're not even going to be there. Why would this be playing in your face? How is she playing in your face when you're not there?
Right.
And there's a look that comes over his face where
he says, okay. Yeah.
Says, okay. He looks off into the distance because he is realizing now in this moment, this is it.
It's over.
It's over. Melody and you, Holt and Holt, the enterprise, the brand that was built all the way up to bringing this show to television, the Holt and Holt brand is finite, kaput, no more.
Because at least after everything, she would have still carried his last name, and now she's not even doing that.
Not even doing that. And he has to recognize she is holding a damn funeral for your last name. She's holding a funeral for your last name. That's it. We have kids together, love my children. The children still carry the Holt's name, but I will not. I am unbreaking myself. I am
Right.
untearing myself from
Yes.
the unit that the two of you believed in so damn much that you sung it when you spoke your name. Holt,
Right.
Holt. I'm a Holt. I'm a Holt. Wouldn't be a Holt without this Holt. Like, god dang.
Right. Right. Exactly. And what cracked me up about the whole thing was that the very thing that was so liberating for her, right? She's liberated from this name, puts handcuffs on him.
Handcuffs, child.
I thought that was
Handcuffs.
brilliant because I was like, oh my God, he's really going to do this on camera. He's going to act a fool on camera about her changing her name like an idiot.
Like an idiot, because he doesn't know what else to do.
Right.
And when he says, oh, okay, when Nell said, how is it playing in your face? He goes, oh, okay, go, enjoy, have a good time. That's him acknowledging, I can't even speak it because now it looks like I don't want to appear like I'm connected than more than I am. Right.
Right.
I don't feel like I'm more connected than I am, even though you tie everything to that name. You tie everything to the fact that you have the same reason why your mama said, which was a beautiful moment, child, I ain't gonna lie. It still breaks my heart to this day. When your mama said, you destroyed my family. You and her
yeah, when Miss Marlene said that was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking. This was what I could be proud of. Okay.
Right.
This is what I talked about when I went to the grocery store. My family, the one that lived on the hill. Okay.
Right.
That's what I talked about. And you destroyed it. When she said, listen, ain't nobody got it like y'all. So I hope you get it to F together. That's what she meant. This is the Holt name. If our family don't do shit else in the world, this what the legacy will be. You and Melody and the children that were born from this relationship. And it is wild to watch how that played out and seen. Martell and Melody, if they don't do anything else, they will bring an honest part of their lives to the show. That
absolutely
perhaps we as the audience may read more into, but it's really poetic some of the time how their lives has played out for us. It's poetic and it's drawn so many people in. Does Martell know there's a huge camera in front of his face? Sure. He knows there's a camera there. He's not an actor, you know what I'm saying? But when he's sitting there and he says, I'd like to know everybody who showed up because this is an insult to me.
It's an insult to him. Right. It's an insult to him because, like I said before, he ruined an empire. But that's how we see it. He sees it as Melody ruined the empire. Yes, he cheated. Yes, he had a side baby. But she didn't have to leave him, so she ruined the empire. She didn't have to dissolve Holt and Holt. She ruined the empire. Right? It all falls on her shoulders, even though it was his actions that caused her to move forward.
Facts. 100% facts. That's exactly how he sees it.
I'm telling you, those two scenes, the way that they play like yin and yang, the opposite of one another, it is hilarious to me.
So anywho, you guys, listen, we are having connectivity issues with our recording. So you guys get the gist of it anyway. I am about to log off before we lose this entire recording. But you guys, please hit that like, subscribe, your notification bell, share the video, of course. I'd like to thank my co-host for being with me again today. I thought we did a great review. Hopefully people will get an opportunity to see it. And I will talk to you right after this, Chuck, because I'm going to give you a call. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Y'all take care, and I will see you on the next one.